Hi guys, welcome back to our mobility mini-series, and today we're going to be focusing on our T-spine, our ribs, our traps and our scapula. So, in fact, Sarah, if you could just turn around and sit in exactly the same position but look out the window.
Okay.
Okay, so the area we're going to be working on is predominantly here. So our thoracic spine, the first part of our ribs, our traps and our scapula. Okay, and the muscles that we're looking for are again traps, rhomboids, supraspinatus, and okay, you can turn around there again.
Thanks. Felt like I'd been naughty.
And really, what this is helping any human being is put their hands over their heads. Do you ever put your hands over your head in life or in sport? Or do you ever put something in a cupboard? Do you ever throw a ball?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and it also counterbalances sitting at a desk doing this all day, or as we're probably lots of us are doing in lockdown, looking at our phones like this. Okay, so this part of our spine gets really stiff. It's supposed to be really stiff because it protects a lot of our vital organs, specifically our lungs and our heart. However, it can get too stiff and it'll stop us moving the way we're supposed to move. Okay, so let's start off with our lat stretch. Sarah, you're going to talk us through that one. So what do we need?
Right, well, if you have a pipe, a broom handle, something that resembles this, or a door.
Yes, or a door.
Should have a door somewhere, even if just on the toilet.
Yeah, you don't have a door in your toilet.
That's a very open plan.
It is.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, so find your object. John's going to use the door to show you what we mean. If you've been following along with the online classes, then you've probably come into contact with this already. So what we're looking to do is hold the pole out in front of you or stand in front of the edge of the door. If you're using the pole, we're going to put one hand above the other to hold on to it. So I'm going to start with my right hand. Okay, and stand back away from it. So what we're going to be looking to do is to keep our arms straight. We're sticking our bum out behind us. We've got a straight leg, maybe with a fraction of a micro bend in the knee. And we're looking to hinge from our hip, keeping that pipe straight ahead of us. If you've got the door, obviously the door is going to remain straight. And we're looking to push down, so you should be feeling a really good stretch up in your upper back, around the backs and sort of down below your shoulders. Okay, so you're not necessarily aiming for a parallel back because in many cases your hands will be above your hips.
Like me, for example. So
Okay.
so my hands are not at the same level as they're not all the way down here,
Yeah.
but they're up here.
So you should be feeling a nice stretch there in your back. You might be feeling a little stretch in the backs of your legs there as well, but we're mainly working on our upper back here. Now, if you've got your right hand on the top of the pole, what you want to do is to push it ever so slightly to the left. Okay, and you should be feeling a nice stretch down your right hand side, down your ribs.
Put your lats.
Yeah. So try to keep your hips square on and just be moving your arms here. Okay, and come back to centre. You can see what John's doing there with the door. Servers are slightly different to what you'd be doing with the pole, but the idea is the same. So now switch over your hands. So I'm now putting my left hand on top, back into the same position. And now let's move our hands over to the right. We get a nice stretch down our left hand side. Feels good. I feel it almost all the way down to my hip. And just relax into the stretch. So that's that. Gently come up, make sure you bend your knees a little bit to come back out of it.
Oh la la.
Yeah, it's given me some volume to my hair.
Yeah, because she's worth it. Alrighty. So the next piece we're going to look at our T-spine again, and we're going to do it with a roller. Now, if you don't have a roller, I've seen really good made-at-home rollers using a cut-off piece of drain pipe. They were the ones we used to use in Bahrain. And anything that is long and cylindrical will work.
Yeah.
Okay, so get creative if you don't have a pipe, a roller. But so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Sarah to set up in this one, and I will talk her through it, and then I'll do the same, but I'll do it behind. So Sarah, if you want to lie this way, put your feet this way.
Diagonally, like?
No, put your feet there.
Okay.
Just so people can see at home. Okay, so Sarah's going to take the roller and she's going to start at the lower part of her rib cage.
Yeah.
She's then going to wind up her back by crossing her hands over from side to side. Give herself a big hug. And she's going to scrub from side to side. And once she's scrubbed from side to side for a little bit, she's then going to try and, this is the important part, try and put your shoulders down on the ground without lifting your bum off the ground, and come back up.
My head reached the floor.
No, you're aiming to put your shoulders, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to overextend our neck. Okay, so keep your neck in the same position.
Okay.
And go back down again. And when you find you can't go anymore, that's fine. And come back up again.
Okay.
Scrub left to right. And then move it down a little fraction.
I'm going down,
so
the roller's going up.
Going up towards your neck. I have another roller. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing for a few minutes. I have a slightly harder roller, which makes it.
It's a beast, that one.
It is a bit of a beast, this one.
This one, I want to let my head go when I put my shoulders.
No.
But I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's really, I feel like I'm holding a lot of tension, stopping myself from doing it.
Well, next week, it's all about the neck.
Ugh. That's my worst bit.
I mean, by all means, if you really want to put your neck back, that's fine. But what you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't just be going, oh look, I'm getting a really good stretch.
No, I'm doing the stretch.
Yeah.
But I feel like I want my head to go.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Because otherwise I'm really tight.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say, because otherwise you're really tight.
Yeah, but in a sore sort of way.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is really simple. And again, this is the sort of thing that you can be doing in front of the TV.
Yeah. Oh. How high should we be going?
Right up to the, so you've probably got a little bit more to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there. So you go up to the tops of your shoulders. I would try and just make sure you're not holding too much tension in your neck. If you're finding you're holding lots of tension in your neck, why don't you try this, Sarah? Come back to like sort of mid T-spine. Okay, so make sure you wrap your arms round, because this helps move your shoulder blades out of the way. Now put your hands in the back of your head like this. And use your arms to hold the weight of your head as you using your arms to actively pull yourself up.
No.
Just use your arms if you have to hold the weight of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's our T-spine extension and side to side scrub. Now, I'm going to talk through a little bit of work with the balls. So we've been giving away a few of these because we just think they're magnificent things. And where we're going to work is we're going to work on our traps and on our scapula. So again, Sarah, can you spin around? And I'll show the good people at home. So traps are the muscles that run along here, trapezius, and our scapula, fancy name for our shoulder blades. Sarah, put your arm behind the lower part of your back. So you might see here, okay, so the shoulder blade. And what we're doing is we're going to be working across here, and then down and through, and actively trying to get the ball in underneath here. Okay, so Sarah, can you stay in that position, because I think it might just be easier for people to stay at home. Shimmy forward to make sure that you're in shot. Okay, so Sarah's going to lie down and she's going to put the ball here, and she's going to bridge up to get a little bit of pressure on it, and ultimately this ball's just going to move from here, and she's just going to move out across here. So we're getting our traps, but we're also getting our supraspinatus as well. And you don't want to mess around with your supraspinatus. If it gets too tight, bad things happen. I know, I've been there. So, you want to lie down? You might want to take that ball.
I thought you would.
Oh, yeah, where you go. Okay, and Sarah's just going to move from the side of her neck out to the top of her shoulder, and she's got her bum up already. So if you find that you're not getting enough pressure, bridge up, and that'll put some more pressure. I'm going to do the same thing just for a moment.
And then I come down and move it along.
Yep, come down, move it along a little bit. I'm going to work on my left hand side. Oh, yeah. This black ball that we're not giving away, the blue balls we're giving away are so much better. This one's slippy. Alright. We're just going to spend a few minutes here. Now we're just going to do one side, and we're just going to demo it, and then of course you can do the other side at home. Okay. Now, let's go for, so if we've worked our way out slowly from here to here, now we're going to work on our scapula. So again, Sarah, if you just sit up. So Sarah's now going to lie down, but she's going to put her lower, her hand behind her lower part of her back, and that just opens up her scapula. And she's going to actively try and push in from the side. She's trying to push the ball in underneath her scapula, and she's going to work all the way down and all the way down here. Okay, so want me to put the ball where it is?
Yeah.
And this requires a little bit of movement just to get the ball to the right place. You'll know you're there. You'll know you're there. So you're working on your rhomboids. And why is it that we're trying to get the ball in underneath our scapula? Because the fascia that surrounds our scapula, if it doesn't move and slide smoothly, then we can't put our arms above our head easily. Why am I interested in that? Well, if you ever run, you need your scapulas to move easily. If you ever push yourself off the floor, you need to have your scapulas move easily. If you ever put anything in a cupboard, you need your scapulas to move easily. Kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
So really trying to think about scrubbing the ball in underneath our scapula as much as we can.
And scrubbing's like going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're not going up and down. And if I really put some pressure and go, I'm on my left scapula. So I'm pushing my body over to the right and the ball is going over to my left. It really just gets in underneath my scapula. It's so good. Okay. Unfortunately, team, we could make this video last about an hour.
It'd be quite boring for them watching us.
And we're just going all the way down. So I would spend 5 or 10 seconds in one spot, and then just move down a little bit. How does that right shoulder feel?
My right one is, I haven't tried the other side
Yeah,
yet.
but how does it feel by comparison to your left?
Oh, I
now?
see. Yeah, it feels a lot looser.
Yeah. Put your hands over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it just, there's a sort of feeling of like moving more freely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, Sarah, we're not done with you yet. We're not done with you
turn
yet.
around again.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone gets to look at the back of my head today.
All right. So now we're going to do we're going to stay in exactly the same position. But we're going to. We're going to do a slightly different thing. So we start here, and rather than put our hands in the lower part of our back, we do this.
So same point on the scapula,
Same
not,
point on the
not
scapula.
up here like where we started.
So we start off, actually what we should do is we should start off high in our trap, and bridge up, move it out slightly, then when we get to the outside of our shoulder, then start to move on the inside of our scapula. Same again. So it's exactly the same, with the exception of rather than just having our hands be passive, our arms are now moving through that range of motion. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, my balls rolled away.
Don't want rolly balls.
No.
And the difference this time is that we are now starting to mobilize our ribs. Mobilizing our ribs? Seriously? Yeah, because our rib cage needs to move. I mean, it's a really solid structure in the human body because it plays such a vital role in protecting us. But it also needs to move in conjunction with our scapula in order that we can function properly. So if we get a lot of stiffness in our rib cage, then we find it really difficult to do this. Key things to note, and I'm not a good example. Make sure when you're putting your arm over your head that you're not getting through to full extension just by bending your arm, right? Like my arm's kinking. No, arm's completely straight. If you find, as I do, my rib cage flares, so I come up like that, try and keep your tummy as tight as possible. Just going to keep an eye on Sarah. Yeah, so Sarah has much more mobility in her, well, she's everywhere, than I do. So you notice
Don't make me laugh in this position.
So you'll notice the difference. If Sarah is still in shot, I think she should be. You'll notice that Sarah's rib cage is not flaring massively whenever she puts her hand over her head. Make sure your arm, your elbow's not bent, Sarah, when you come around.
The only reason that I've hit the fireplace.
Perfect. Yeah, that's fine. But you notice Sarah's rib cage doesn't flare, whereas mine naturally, once I want to come up, and that's not right. So look, see, whenever I want to do that, see, you know my rib cage is flaring. No, so I want to keep my tummy tight. And push that down as far as I can. So I don't want to just go. No. Coming around to the bottom of the scapula. I mean, it's okay if it does a little bit, but you just want to be actively aware of that movement. Okay. Oh, my left side feels 100% better. And my right side just feels much more loose.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's it pretty much, team. So we've done our
Lat stretch.
Yeah, lat stretch. We've done our roller work, so extension over the back, scrubbing side to side. We've done our smash with our traps and scapula. Oh, there's one additional traps smash that I'm going to show you. Now, I would normally recommend that you do this in a door frame, but in order to get the camera angle, guys won't be able to see it at home. So I'm going to pretend that this door is a door frame.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take the ball, put it up against my door frame, and just do this. Oh, no, this door's a little bit skinny, so the ball's going to pop off one side or the other. But you get the idea.
Can do that just on a corner if you've got a corner wall, can't
Oh
you?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A corner of a wall, whatever it is you've got. I would normally.
Could you do it here? Do you have to be standing up?
I find it better to be standing up because you can actively push into it. So whenever we were going after our lats, whenever we were going after our traps with the ball smash, we were going from the back. This one just gets them from the front. So up against your door frame. I'm conscious it's going to look a bit funny in the video with my head disappearing.
Yeah, the headless man doing mobility.
Yeah. I'm just pushing with as much pressure as I feel I need to. Unfortunately, team, you can't see this, but I'm moving my head.
Come around the other side.
Thanks, genius. Just worked that one out. All right, so I'm just moving my head ever so slightly from left to right. Just holding. I'm trying to lose. I'm not holding any weight on my arm.
Yeah. Release the tension that you're holding elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. So, okay. So the recap. Lat stretch.
Lat stretch with the pole or the door.
Yeah. Then we did.
Then we did the roller.
Yeah.
T-spine.
Yeah. Then we did a bunch of ball smash work on our traps and our scapula.
Yeah.
And then we did the same sort of thing, but this time we just introduced a little bit overhead rib immobilization into play. So hopefully upper back, shoulders feeling pretty good. And any questions, drop us a line.
Yeah.
We'll see you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.